Is about Lynx and Lamb, or the band Prussian Blue, however you want to call it. These are two girls that were raised to promote an ideology of white supremacy, but they were indoctrinated at a young age and forced to do so, and they were not given the critical thinking skills that they needed to grow up and understand the things that they were saying, or to make proper choices based on reason and logic. Now, let's move on and hear what this little video is about here.
A story ABC first brought you a few years ago, the young neo-Nazi twins who sang about white supremacy. But when ABC's Juju Chang went back to check in with them, she found they're now singing a totally different tune. Juju, always great to see you.
Always great to see you, Robin. And I like to think of them as recovering racists, for lack of a better term. And while they're still not convinced about all aspects of the Holocaust, these former Aryan Nation poster girls now say they've seen the light and have experienced an extreme makeover, multicultural edition.
White survival strike force.
Who could forget these young, blonde-haired, blue-eyed darlings? We first introduced you to twins Lamb and Lynx Gady 5 years ago.
Now, what you'll notice is how young these girls are. They are not capable of making choices on their own at this early of an age, especially choices this complex and this nuanced and everything else. This is a problem. The other thing is the exploitation of these girls, and in environments where their safety was most likely at risk in some of these environments. If you see, you'll see what I'm saying in a bit.
But these adorable freckle-faced twins weren't singing songs of love, but songs of hate.
A holy creed of racial purposes, the mighty race to defend.
But now at age 19, the young duo, formerly known as Prussian Blue, say they've changed their neo-Nazi ways. Saying to ABC News, "I'm grown up now. I was a little kid back then and said a lot of things I don't believe in now." The girls say moving to Montana and attending public school has truly opened their eyes and given them new perspectives.
Now, this is a problem. What happens is a lot of these kids are homeschooled, and they're not given the critical thinking skills or the raw information that they need to think critically about anything. Okay? So when they are thrust into an atmosphere that is multicultural, that is full of homosexuals and things of that nature, they are not given the critical thinking skills to say, this is wrong, or maybe I don't agree with this because of these reasons, or maybe not all people are like this, but some of them are. Because they're raised with these generalities. So what happens is they can only think in generalities. So what they say is they throw out everything they were indoctrinated with. They throw the baby out with the bathwater, and they just go thinking in liberal generalities instead of the generalities that they were indoctrinated with as kids.
Perspectives on life. My sister and I were homeschooled. We were these country bumpkins. It makes me proud of humanity every day that we have so many different places and people. It's a far cry from a then 14-year-old Lynx who shuddered at the thought of diversity.
We don't want to, just be a big muddle. We don't want to. We just want to preserve our race.
The twins say they're quite liberal now, embracing medical marijuana after Lynx was diagnosed with cancer freshman year.
Now, what's so sad about this is the one had cancer. Now, medical marijuana does not really do very much for cancer. Okay, the research is kind of iffy on that. However, what we do know, thanks to the research of a Dr. Walter Longo, is that fasting combined with vitamin C therapy does do quite a bit against cancer, and I'm going to show that later. Now, why am I bringing that up? Because these young girls, if I remember correctly, were actually members of the World Church of the Creator, the creativity movement. One of the beliefs of the World Church of the Creator is adherence to salubrious living. One of the tenets of salubrious living is fasting and following a raw food vegan diet. Or a fruitarian diet. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit and explain some of that more in depth. But what's really sad is these young girls, because they were indoctrinated and not given the critical thinking skills that they needed to make reasonable choices, they just went batshit insane when they were thrust without the knowledge they needed, without the intellectual weaponry that they needed to cope with the bombardment of multiculturalism. So what did they do? They gave in. They gave in to the attacks by their peers.
And Lamb sought relief from back pain and scoliosis. Lynx was quoted as saying, "Marijuana saved my life. I would probably be dead if I didn't have it." Former neo-Nazi Frank Menik joined the movement when he was 13.
Now, another thing, what's sad about that is one of the concepts of salubrious living is exercise. Through physical